All right, welcome back. Led Zeppelin IV is produced by Jimmy Page. It's 8 songs and it's 43 minutes long. It's not a fast listen, it's heavy on content, and I don't mean heavy metal. I mean, it takes a lot of energy to listen to it. It's heavy. I don't know what else to say about that. The album cover has a photo of a man holding a bunch of straw or sticks. These are sticks on his back, and that photo is hanging on a wall. It's a photo, and it's in a picture frame, and it's on a wall, and I guess that's you know, the style of wall they have. Lot Long, a Wiltshire Thatcher in an 1892 photograph by Ernest Howard Farmer. So that is a person named Lot Long. Okay, and the back cover is, let's see, the CD case. The back cover is the Hermit. You see the Hermit right there, holding a lantern. And you can see by the way, this is very old. I mean, I've had this forever. I couldn't even tell you how old this is. Certainly early 90s. Yeah. I mean, it's so old that it's got I mean, this is not a remaster or anything like that. It's got the original style disc from Atlantic Records. And on the back cover, this is the Salisbury Tower in Birmingham. Okay, it's a building where people live. It's not an office building. It's a place where people in Birmingham, the UK, live. Okay, this album has a different vibe to it than the previous 3 Led Zeppelin albums. It stands on its own. That's my opinion. It's hard rock. It's a blend of everything. It's hard rock. It's folk, and it's heavy metal, and it has some of the 12-bar structure that we covered in Led Zeppelin 1, Led Zeppelin 2, and Led Zeppelin 3, but not so much 12-bar blues like Led Zeppelin 1, but some of it is in here. But it's just like Led Zeppelin 1, it seems like the whole thing is like that, and even 2 and 3 are. This one's different, okay? Well, that's enough of that. Let's get into it. The first track is Black Dog. It's 4 minutes and 57 seconds. It is credited to Page and Plant and John Paul Jones. And I always wondered what the first thing you hear on the album is. That it sounds like someone's scratching on it. I don't know what it is. I've always wondered, but that tick, 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 tick. But then, I say that, and Black Dog is a blues rock song. So I say all that thing about there's not so much 12 bars, but then this one is. So, arrangement wise and music wise, it's in the key A major. And really, it only has 4 chords. It's C, G, A, and D. And speaking of that, I took all the music theory out of this book, which I bought on Amazon, the Led Zeppelin Complete. And it's not the complete whole catalog, but it has Led Zeppelin 1 through 4, I believe. Maybe it is. Oh, maybe it does have more than that. Okay, the album contains all the songs written by Led Zeppelin for the first 5 albums. That's pretty awesome. Super Hype Publishing. And it seems legit to me. So I wish I would have had this for the other 3 albums. But yeah, it only has 4 chords, C, G, A, and D. And it's a medium beat and 4/4 time. And there's no time changes or anything in this track in Black Dog. The verse is, hey, hey, mama, said the way you move, gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove. It's a 32-bar verse. And that's for the whole first verse. And then there's like a 12-bar jam at the end. That whole thing is 32 bars. And then after that, the second part of the song is the, oh yeah, oh yeah, that whole part. That's 8 bars. And then the bridge is 8 bars. That's the third part of the song. And it's repeated, I think, twice. I think they do it once and they do it a second time, back to back. It's the, hey baby, oh baby, pretty baby, tell me would you do me now. That's the bridge. And then the break is the, that is 8 bars in the right in the middle of the song. And then there's God, is there a solo? I can't remember. Yeah, there is, because there's a there's that whole solo that Jimmy Page plays. Anyway, the song arrangement is a verse, that O part, the ah part, then another verse, the second verse, then there's the break, which is the ah, 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 ah. And then there's the bridge, and then another verse, and then the oh yeah, that part, and then the final verse, and then one more break, and that's the song, Black Dog. There's a lot going on. It's a very famous song, and all the classic rock radio stations play it. Certainly they did in my home stations and my markets. Track 2 is Rock and Roll. It's 3 minutes and 40 seconds. It's credited to Page, Plant, and Paul and Bonham. So the whole band gets writing credit. It's in the key of A major and fast tempo at 4/4 time, moderately fast tempo. And the verse is, "It's been a long time since I rock and rolled." That's 24 bars. The second part is the bridge, or the break, which includes the guitar solo part. The music doesn't really change at all. It's just doing the same thing. The solo part starts at 1 minute and 45 seconds, and it ends at 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So that's about 45 seconds. Yeah. About that, 35. And then at 2 minutes and 20 seconds, that's when the third verse starts. Okay. And then the outro, been a long time part, been a long time. That's when that starts. And that starts at about the 3 minute mark. And that's rock and roll. It's a verse break with the solo in that break. And then the third verse is the final verse, and then the outro. Track 3 on Led Zeppelin IV is The Battle of Evermore. It's 5 minutes and 51 seconds. It's a Page Plant song, and lead vocals by Robert Plant and a guest vocalist named Sandy Denny. And there's no percussion. And Jimmy Page is on guitars and mandolin. And the interesting tidbit I picked up, I didn't even know this. I think I was reading, I've been listening to this forever, but I was reading the Wikipedia page just to refresh. And Sandy Denny has his own. You know how they have the 4 icons? Well, Sandy Denny has his own right there. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that until yesterday. The song specifically alludes to the Dark Lord of the Ring Wraiths and the Ring Wraiths from Lord of the Rings, while the Queen of Light mentioned is possibly the Elf Queen Galadriel. You know, in the first Lord of the Rings, I never read the books, but I've seen all the movies a bunch of times, and Galadriel's that one, that crazy elf queen. Anyway, it's in the Battle of Evermore, key of C major, moderately fast 4/4 time. And the verses are 24 bars, and the Queen of Light took her bow, 8 bars. And then "Oh Dance in the Night of the Dark," that's 16 bars after that, with Sandy Denny and Robert Plant changing lines back and forth. So that's what that whole 24-bar verse is. It's 8 bars of Robert Plant singing, and then Robert and Sandy are like trading back and forth. And then the chorus is 8 bars of "I hear the horses thunder down in the valley below," and that's sung in vocal harmony by Sandy Denny and Robert Plant. Like I said, all the lyrics are references to Lord of the Rings. When you listen to the song, it's not so cut and dry what is what between the verse and the chorus, because it seems like one long ballad. But what helped me is if I looked at the lyrics online and then just really pay attention to what they're singing about and when it's happening. The outro is 8 bars. "At last the sun is shining, the clouds of blue roll by." That starts at about 3 minutes and 40 seconds. And then there's a break. Not too long of a break, and then finally the outro. The second outro. There's an outro, a break, and a second outro, which is weird. It's like "Bring It Back" part. Bring it back, bring it back. That's what Robert Plant is shouting. That part starts at 4:30, and it's 44 bars in the second outro, and it fades out at about 5 minutes and 47 seconds. So you've got this weird arrangement of verse, chorus, verse. And then you've got these outros, which is split in half by this weird ambient break. And just check it out. When you listen to it, you'll notice. You'll know what I mean. Track 4 is "Stairway to Heaven." It's 8 minutes and 1 second. That's got to make it the longest track. Let me see. Yeah, that Yeah, it's funny. My CD says 755, 801. I don't know. I think I pulled. I don't know where I pulled that from, but this is the song. This is the Led Zeppelin signature song, and their most famous song, and it's like their song. I know they got sued over it, and they got off like and in the past, I didn't revisit it again, but they got sued and accused of plagiarism, and they got off. And it sounds like, but it's not the same. It's key of C major, and it's slowly in 4/4 time. The intro is 15 bars, the whole do 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 do, and then after those 15 bars, it goes into the verse, which is 8 bars. Robert Plant is singing. There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. That's the 8 bar verse, and then after that is the chorus. Well, there's 2 verses, and then the chorus kicks in. Oh, what makes me wonder part. That's 8 bars. That's the chorus. To me, that's the best part of the song because it has the whole. That whole to me, that's when the song really is memorable. I know people love to go to guitar stores and play the intro, but to me that's not the part. The guitar solo is before the bridge. It starts at 5:55 and goes to 6:44. It's with that slow tempo, it's only 18 bars, but it sure takes up a long time, almost a full minute. And then the bridge the bridge is the part where Robert Plant he's almost screaming, and as we wind on down the road, that's 18 bars. And then the outro is 10 bars, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. That's that's how the song ends. So, to get it to 8 minutes, they had to really add a lot of verses and choruses. So it's like verse, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse. That guitar solo, which is almost a minute long, and then the bridge is the end of the song, and then the outro, and that's Stairway to Heaven. A masterpiece, really. After Stairway to Heaven is track 5, Misty Mountain Hop. Is it really hop? I always thought it was Misty Mountain Top. It's 4 minutes and 38 seconds. Page, Plant, Jones are the writers. And this is one of those foot tapper songs. I guess that's why it's called Hop and not Top. I always, when you think of Misty Mountain, the top. I don't know how I missed that all these years, but anyway, Misty Mountain Hop should be in a beer commercial or something like that. Maybe like Miller Genuine Draft. If it wasn't, it should have been. But it's in the key of A major, and it's a moderate rock tempo in 4/4 time. This is not a very complicated song. It's got a verse and a guitar solo and an outro. The verse is, "Walking in the park just the other day, baby." And then Robert Plant screams, "What do you think I saw?" It's 23 bars verse, plus there's a 5 bar transition to the next verse. Okay? And then the verses are all just like that. It's, I'm doing this, and then I'm going to scream some kind of, question. The solo runs from 2 minutes and 39 seconds to 3 minutes and 15 seconds, and it's a 20 bar solo. It's just classic Jimmy Page. And then the outro is a 20 bars, starts after the fourth verse, and then it fades out with the, "Oh, I really don't, no, no, no." And that's the tune, Misty Mountain Hop. It's a verse, 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 guitar solo, verse. That's the tune. And pretty, you'd think there'd be I give you a breather after Stairway to Heaven. No, they just pick it up with the high tempo, fast, happy song like that. Okay. Track 6 is Four Sticks. It's 4 minutes and 44 seconds. This is another Jimmy Page, Robert Plant written tune. And this is the mare, 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 mare. Mare, mare, mare. It's repeat that riff. And really, it should be another beer commercial song. Robert Plant is pretty much screaming on this song the whole way, like he is on Misty Mountaintop, but pretty much every lyric. The reason why this song is so memorable is the main lick is in 5/4 time. That mare, 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 that whole thing. That's why it works. It's a key of A major, moderately fast. The verses changed from 5/4 to 3/4 time, and the choruses are all in 3/4 time. So there's like a lot going on in this tune. The verse is, "Oh baby, it's crying time. Oh baby, I gotta fly." It's a 20 bars. The first verse. So the second verse, or the other bars, the other verses are all 16 bars. So the first verse is 20 and the rest are 16. The chorus is, "And when the owls cry in the night, oh baby, baby, when the pines begin to cry." Those are 19 bars, and it's all in 3/4. Okay. And then the break it runs from 3 minutes and 7 seconds. It's short to 3:32. Just a lot of Plant going, and then the main riff comes back in, the whole, meh, meh, meh. And that's pretty much the tune. There's a quick outro. It's a verse, chorus, break, verse, outro, with the whole mirror thing going on and the drumming underneath it. It is really quite a cool tune. The next track is track 7, Going to California. It's 3 minutes and 36 seconds, and it's a Page Plant. Such a beautiful song, really. It's in the key of D major. The verses are just 2 chords, D and G. And it's moderately in cut time. So cut time, like 1, 2, 1, 2. And the verse is, "Spent my days with a woman unkind, smoked my stuff and drank all my wine." It's 24 bars. And there's this whole it's just a really cool tune. I'm not gonna do it justice doing that, but if you don't like Going to California, maybe you gotta get a checkup from the neck up or something. There's no guitar solos or bridges or choruses or anything in this song. It's the 4 verses, verse, 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 and Robert Plant is singing in his best voice, really. Going to California. Check it out. Track 8. When the Levee Breaks, it's 7 minutes and 7 seconds. It's credited to Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, John Paul Jones, and somebody named Memphis Minnie. I was curious enough about that. This track is a rework of the 1929 song When the Levee Breaks, a blues tune by the couple Kansas Joe McCoy and Memphis Minnie. This isn't a case where they plagiarized or were accused of plagiarism or sued, like in a lot of the songs in Led Zeppelin 1 or 2 that I covered. The band intentionally tried to rework a famous song, When the Levee Breaks. It has the drum beat and the harmonica at the beginning, and Robert Plant on harmonica, and the intro harmonica solo runs to about 1:23 seconds. The song is about how the Mississippi River flooded in 1927, which, I live here in town. I'd be interested in seeing, what kind of damage was done, if anything, way up here where I am. But it's scary when the river floods. It's in the key of F minor or A flat major. The same. There's just really just a few chords in this song. It's a moderate rock, and it's in 4/4 time. And the intro is the harmonica solo that I mentioned. It runs from 7 seconds to 1:23, which is 48 bars. It's got a real, adds a real bluesy flavor to it. The verse, these are 12-bar verses, so 12-bar blues. If it keeps on raining, levee's gonna break. If it keeps on raining, the levee's gonna break. That's the 12-bar verse. The second verse is 8 bars, though. Oh, don't it make you feel bad when you're trying to find your way home? And then there's a second harmonica solo, which runs from 3 minutes and 5 seconds to 4 minutes and 7 seconds. It's 36 bars. And there's this 12-bar part they stick in between the final verse and the outro, where the outro begins and that part ends with the dot-don, 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 dot-don. And finally, the outro is, I know I didn't do that. It's ba-dum, ba-dum, da-dum, da-dum. I mean, I know I can't do it right, but the outro was 12 bars and a fade out going to Chicago going down with the harmonicas going on at the same time. So pretty solid ending to the album. Cool tune. The intro, harmonica solo, and then a verse, the second harmonica solo, a verse, and then an outro which has, Robert Plant singing about the Chicago stuff and the harmonica solo going on. And that's the album, Led Zeppelin IV. I mean, you should check it out if you haven't heard it. Where have you been? And in summary, it's sold a lot. I mean, if you can imagine 37 million copies, that's good for number one for Led Zeppelin, and it's good for number one in 1971. And it's the number 7 selling record of the decade of the 70s. And it's number 13 all time behind Michael Jackson. He's got Thriller and Bad. I think Bad, right? And it's behind AC/DC and Whitney and, The Bodyguard. And Meatloaf is ahead of it. And Shania Twain is ahead of it. And a couple of Eagles records like Hotel California and I think like one of their greatest hits records, the one with the eagle skull on it. But Led Zeppelin IV is ahead of Alanis and Metallica, the Black Album, and it's ahead of Pink Floyd, The Wall. And it's ahead of Sgt. Pepper by the Beatles. And it's ahead of Dirty Dancing. I mean, golly. Jeez. Can you imagine the world, listening to the Dirty Dancing soundtrack? ProgArchives.com they give it a 4.4.2 ranking. It's not weighted heavily enough based on the number of reviews to officially crack the top 100, but that's a very high user rating. It should be in the top 100. But they have this weighted system at procarchives.com. You have to have a bunch of reviews. So it's the quantity of reviews that are weighted but also who's reviewing them that's weighted. But 4.42 is very high. I mean, that should easily put it in the top 100, but it's not in the top 100 because of those factors. Allmusic.com gives it a 5, of course. And Rolling Stone gives it a 5. And I'm still looking for a Rolling Stone to buy, the album guide. But, I'll find one. I was looking at Bookstars, but I couldn't. I was at a Barnes & Noble and they didn't have it. I'm going to look in used bookstores. So that's it. Led Zeppelin IV. I mean, I know a lot of you, they were complaining after... You complained about my Led Zeppelin rankings because I didn't have Led Zeppelin IV number 1 or number 2. And, I understand its merits and why people love it and why it gets 5-star ratings. And I get all that, but it's just not my favorite. That's all. I mean, we can't all like the same chicken sandwich, right? Can we? I like different chicken sandwiches. I actually like the Burger King one. Believe it or not, if you've ever had one, it's amazing. But that, everybody likes different things. Different strokes for different folks, right? Okay, anyway, next up on the channel is Tarkus by ELP, which is a pretty fun listen. And then Yes, Fragile, which I have a pretty good relationship with. Okay, that's it. I'm out. Thanks, everybody.